Okay, well, here we find ourselves back on Oracle Mountain, this place where a lot of people, different, niches and interests gather. And I was just talking to Adriana of Starry Sky Readings, who is joining us here today. She's a galactic astrologer. She does tarot. She does a whole bunch of things. So it's one of these, we were just laughing about this before getting started, that most of the Oracle Fest speakers don't really love having to pick a label or a title for themselves. And I find it a really funny, kind of endearing commonality that we share, that we all go, I don't know, call me anything. But I think
Like
there's like,
intuitive, yeah,
yeah, yeah. What other
person.
names do you use for yourself?
Yeah, intuitive or Oracle too.
Mhm.
That's very fitting with Oracle Fest. So very
Oh,
happy to be part of it and very grateful
yeah.
to you for inviting me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And so, if people have been following my feed or Adriana's feed, then you might have seen also we have been in a video together before. Um,
Yes.
I'll go link that video before or like after when I post this Oracle Mountain chat. So you'll see the reading that Adriana did of me, my star seed reading. So you can go check out my galactic astrology chart through that. And it was so
Mhm.
fun and so beautiful. And so I thought, oh, you would just suit Oracle Fest so well. And I think there is like a
Oh,
need for galactic and starseed awareness to come up to like a normal mainstream zone within all this
yeah.
knowledge.
Mhm.
So yeah, tell us a little bit about what it is that you look into or what it is that you do in case people are interested in checking out that video further or your services further as well.
Yeah, so I'm a galactic astrologer. I was trained under my teacher, Julia Balaz. Highly recommend go check out the Galactic Astrology website. So she was my teacher, and I became certified just this past summer, which was a really big achievement. And it takes galactic astrology, which is, so you think basic astrology, looking at a natal chart, but adding in all the beautiful constellations and fixed stars in those constellations. And you can look at it as just a galactic astrologer perspective and see what the ancient astrologers thought on those stars, but it's taking it to the next level because what I kind of specialize in, if you want to say, is doing past life readings. So, Kate, for example, I took her on a journey basically to her most distant soul origins and connections. And I'm able to combine that with this beautiful method with galactic astrology. Um, and because I've been a tarot reader and I've done, the divination type stuff with oracle cards as well, I was able to use past life oracle cards to kind of add my own touch to it. So I could get really like the experiences that Kate was having, or whoever was having there, because that's what I really wanted to get through. I know there's a lot of focus on the star seed beings, which I think is really beautiful too. I do mention that, like I did in yours.
Yes.
Um, yeah, and that's really fun, of course, to add, but I really want to focus on the experience more so. So that's what I try to do through my readings because knowing those experiences is very helpful in your current lifetime here on Earth. And oftentimes we're seeing that the same patterns and cycles are being repeated. And, you want to learn those lessons or clear that karma. It's just really a beautiful, interesting way to discover that and see where your soul has been. So I know that might sound like a lot and go over some people's heads, but I, use my intuition and use the astrology and the tarot, oracle cards to really get as much detail as I can. So, how long was your report? Was pretty long, I think,
Oh
too.
yeah, there was a lot to it. There was
12,
so
15.
much to it. Yeah, yeah. And we chatted for a long
Yeah,
time, which is partly my
it
fault because
was so
I'm
nice.
quite
No,
chatty.
no, it was so great.
What was
You
really
confirmed so
fascinating,
many things,
that's what I
too.
was going to say. It just seemed like you were telling me about my life as
Mhm.
if you'd known so much of what I'm working on or what I care about or what has gone on or what I'm
Yeah.
wanting to like see ahead. And we had only just met, right? And so it is really
Yeah.
amazing how that was something you said. It really just like really feels like you're already living like your
Hmm.
part of your potential, your soul truth out. And for those folks who often feel like, ooh, I feel like I might be missing something, or I feel like I'm not quite wrapping around my like
Hmm.
mission or my potential in life. I really feel like this is something
Yes.
that could absolutely expand it because it takes you to this place beyond this current life, and anything beyond that
Hmm.
current life gives you this kind of way more insight than you would have had previously.
Yeah, for sure. And your connections to very much was confirming everything that you're doing is totally aligned with the work you're doing, putting together Oracle Fest and your intuitive work that you do and the teachings you do. So you were totally on the right path too. We were seeing all those things from those past life experiences. So yeah, I just find it to be, not only fascinating for myself, but it's really nice to see other people get that nice confirmation that they kind of know subconsciously. But you kind of just need somebody to pull that out in a way.
Absolutely. And for me, I definitely felt like I'd had some level of awareness of some connections within Starseed, but there's so much to know. There are so many
Mhm.
different things. I mean, how many Starseed quizzes are there on the internet? Probably like thousands that just
Yeah, oh
say,
yeah, I'm
you're
sure.
this, you're that, you're this, you're that. And I really wanted to have a more accurate and close understanding of like
Yeah.
truly when we look at it, where would I,
Mhm.
mostly resonate with? And um yeah, it makes a lot more sense too for some of the deeper challenges or issues that might arise because they have an extension long past this one lifetime based on whatever we've picked up since birth. I think that
Yes.
depth is really key for a lot of people, and it's why a lot of people like exploring past lives. So then why not your
Mhm.
starseed past lives, right? It's like the jump up.
Yes,
If you see it as
it is.
chronological, which it ain't, but if we saw it as
Right.
chronological, it would almost feel like you're jumping up. It's like you're on Earth, you go up to the stars. You're on Earth, you go up to the stars. You're on Earth, you go up to the stars. And it was
Hmm.
like tracing. That's what it felt like to me. It felt like tracing all these
Yeah.
past lives in the stars.
Sometimes
Beautiful.
it's happening simultaneously too.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's it's so yeah, mind-blowing to yeah, even try
Yeah.
to wrap your brain around.
I was going to say, before we get into the issue of non-time, let's talk about these current times, because I know you wanted to chat a little
Yes.
bit about like a shift that is currently going on as of the
Hmm.
recording of this. So I'll also make sure that this gets published out within the next few days, by the way, so that it's
Okay, no
timely. So feel free
problem.
to talk about anything that is
Oh,
time-based.
yes, no problem. Yeah, it's no rush actually because we still got about over a week. So we
Perfect.
have yeah, the North Node is shifting. So for those who don't know, it's been in Aries, very fiery warrior Aries, and it's shifting into very free-flowing water down Pisces. So, yes, we're getting a lot of this very beautiful spiritual energy I feel coming in this year. So, and that means the South Node will then be in earthy Virgo. So, we're going to kind of have this balancing act between being grounded, but also kind of woo, way up here floating around and illusions and dreams that is coming up a lot, what I was getting intuitively there, which with that can be good and bad, of course. It's kind of a mixed bag with Pisces energy. So you have good dreams, right? And you also have bad dreams. So seeing through illusions, but also manifesting your dreams. And I also feel this, speaking of star season, things a little more unusual. I think this shift is helping those things become more prevalent, or I don't want to say really mainstream, but
Mhm.
more known, through the spiritual community, if you will. So,
Mhm.
and funny enough, too, the North Node, if you don't mind me sharing my screen, am I able to do that?
Let me give you permission.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I always have to make people the host. So
Oh,
there
no
you go.
problem. Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Of course.
I just wanted to quickly show that this North Node here in Pisces, here it is. It's lining up to this fixed star called Sheet,
Mm.
also called Beta Pegasi. And Kate also had this star in her reading. So I felt like this was so timely and so in sync, especially with Oracle Fest too, again, like pushing spirituality out there and having all these beautiful discussions talked about through many people. So yes, it's really cool to see that. And as you know, Kate, it has this very much aligned with Pisces. It's a very water elemental type of environment with Beta Pegasi. Um, and we've gotten some intuitive downloads and channelings that it is very much like kind of an aquatic mermaidy type of vibe there. So yeah, definitely pushing in that extra water element. So again, water can be both calm, like a stream, but it can also be a hurricane. So, there's going to be, I think, a mixed bag with that. We'll see throughout this year. Kind of going with the flow, though, as best as we can. So I'll stop the share. So,
It
so
makes a
yeah,
lot
I
of
wanted
sense
to
to
share
me.
that.
Yeah, the Pisces
Yeah.
energy. My best friend's a Pisces and I'm an Aries, so I get to see this
Mhm.
combination of that transition and the differences between often.
Yes.
But you're
Mhm.
right, that Bekazi and Shiat is the name of that point.
Yeah, it's either called, I'm not sure if it's pronounced sheet or shiat,
Shiat,
so
okay. Um,
however it's supposed to be.
Well, this point did come up in my reading, and I think it's what led you to call the title. You'll see the title, anyone or in everyone who goes to watch that. It says shamanic
Hmm.
mermaid, because that is like the idea of like kind of the sum up of how that all came together. And so, if our North Node collectively is shifting, what does that mean for people who are just getting used to what any of this, like if this feels like other language, in many ways it is,
Mm,
um,
right.
what would a North Node shift for the world mean?
Mm. Yeah, that's a good question. So again, it's kind of like what I said, collectively speaking, this kind of illusions coming into reality. Um, on a personal level, I guess it would be more so how do you make your dreams into reality and what are, the things that you truly believe in? What are
Mm.
the illusions and your spiritual beliefs being tested or maybe you're just diving into it and exploring that more. So I feel like on a collective whole, it's this kind of exploration of spirituality and even things that are unusual. So we've seen, I'll take it a little step further. We've seen some things with some UAPs and drones flying around. So I think we'll see more weird, unusual things like
I was going to
that. So
ask you about that. I was
yeah.
thinking, well, if we've been in Aries energy collectively, and North Node
Mhm.
generally has to do with like our whole life and like the mission of our whole
Yeah.
kind of, this
Yeah.
big
Generationally.
balance, right? Of like, yeah,
Hmm.
if Aries has been what we've been in, we've been very like it's either here or it isn't. Like it's a little more
Yeah.
like intense, a little more black and white, and a little
Hmm.
more like go 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 as well.
Yes.
And so this
Yeah.
transition into like really valuing the spirit and valuing the emotional as well, if it's like a water
Yes.
sign, then the feelings that people have experiencing
Hmm.
ET, UFO, old world words
Hmm.
for this. Um,
Yeah.
I was just talking about this with my father actually yesterday because he's a very much more linear thinker. And
Yeah.
but
Hmm.
I always joke he's sort of accidentally enlightened. He kind of gets stuff as well. So I don't have to push through too many of the like narrative stuff. But
Hmm.
it's funny because he would not ever refer to something based on a feeling or like a dream or, that type of thing.
Hmm.
But he said it really does feel like more and more people are going to start coming out with this and that they're not like holding back anymore as
Yeah.
well, which I think makes a lot
Yeah.
of sense. It's like the dam burst in a way.
Yeah. And we're in the age of Aquarius too. So it's like
Hmm.
extra. I'm really pushing that out there. Yeah.
Right. So a
Yeah,
lot of
for
these sort
sure.
of more philosophical and spiritual ideas are starting to have a bit more weight or momentum behind them compared to
Yes.
before. Okay.
Yes, definitely.
What
But
an
there is
exciting
also
first
this
year for
kind
Oracle
of
Quest.
yeah, right. So perfect timing, yeah.
Yeah,
And if I didn't say, it happens January 12th or the 11th, depending what part of the world you're in. So that's
perfect.
when it officially starts and goes
Okay.
into Pisces. So, and yes, it will be kind of like that balancing act too with Virgo in the South Node. Some people might feel a little more comfortable in earthy Virgo. So there's going to be a little bit of that, like, okay, I need to ground myself. Let's not go fly too much off the handle here and let's still be stable and grounded here. So it's finding that balance though, like with anything in life. So yeah.
hmm And sort of the default, if I were to just meet someone who has, which I do, I have a few clients right now in the empath program who have a Pisces North node and a Virgo South node. And often it's the type of
Mm,
people in my mind who would like make a list about doing something to create a change and then maybe not get to
mm,
making the change because they've
yeah.
felt it out, they thought about it, they
The
had a dream about
intention's
it.
there.
Yeah, it sounded so good. And then they just carried on their merry way, you know?
Yeah.
And like the most productivity they get is also when they are in this feeling place and they
Mhm,
are dreaming of like what is possible and like this open potential type of feeling. So like a Pisces
mhm.
North Node person, I'd always want to have them feel like they can do whatever and shift whatever it is they feel, like based on what they feel as well.
Yeah, and Pisces is also very creative, as you know,
Mhm.
very creative and artistic too. So there could be definitely a lot more of that too, tapping
Mm,
more into the
that's
creative
good.
spirit.
I have a few creative projects I'm working on this year, so I'm
Yeah.
glad this is all continuing to be in alignment.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
And
and I
so,
did
yeah.
I pulled also a Oracle message that I wanted to share.
Mm,
Speaking of Oracle,
yeah.
with this alignment. So I'll show my deck first. It is the Moonology Oracle cards
Mm,
by Yasmin Boland. I actually got this down in Glastonbury. I don't know if you had a chance to
not
go
yet.
there.
It's on my list for when I go back. I honestly just put it on
Yeah,
my list this
so
year.
beautiful there.
Yeah, I'll be back in the UK. I'll be in England in September, so maybe we'll cross paths and I'll say,
Oh
come
yeah,
out to
okay. Let me
Glastonbury.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such like the energy there. I mean, you really do feel it as soon as you
Mm,
like get into that, even just the little town because they have the ley lines and everything. So really
yes.
magical place. Highly recommend.
Yes, I know a few people who live in that area as well, actually, because I think they
Mhm.
would have lived at Findhorn at one point in their
Oh,
time. And Findhorn is a spiritual community. They say that there's ley lines and kind of vortex energy off the river there as
yeah.
well. But I think also just the amount of people over time who have seen a place as a spiritual place give it so much more oomph and energy
Yes.
as well. And Glastonbury
Hmm.
does continue to call me. So yeah, I've heard
Yeah.
your message. I will go.
There you go. Yeah. And yeah, so I bought that beautiful Oracle deck from there. And the card that I drew, so I got this ahead of time, so it was ready. So it's Blue Moon, and it's believe in the impossible. So
Mm.
again, making dreams reality, things that we would think are impossible. And I can't help but to think of the, ETs or whatever's going on up there that we're
Mm.
seeing. I think we're, yeah, again, going to see more stuff like that, things that we would think are impossible coming
Mm.
into our more 3D reality, if you will. And the
Mm.
bottom of the deck, too, we have faith in your dreams. Oops, here we
Wow.
go. Have faith in your dreams. Very much aligning to that dreamy Pisces energy, waxing crescent moon. So
Mm.
shifting into the new moon. New moon is new cycles, releasing old cycles with the full moon, shifting into new ones, which we are in that time right now, I feel
Oh, it
for
feels like
sure.
we are for sure in that time.
Yes.
And if there's anything that I've sort of had a sense of going into this next year, it has also been that like devoting to your dreams is going to be very important. My dreams have been very active, but I tend to get things right before we
Yeah.
have these shifts. So now that you're talking, I'm going, oh,
Mm,
this makes sense. This makes sense. Everything
yeah.
has been kind of coming up. I tend to do like a preview of it before the energy actually shifts. And the
Mm-hmm.
believing in the impossible, believing in what um, is unseen as well, like what was previously
Mm-hmm.
unseen, I think is also really critical this year. Devotion to dreams has come up a lot, but also the
Mm-hmm.
like following the feeling, because you'll feel like this is what happens when we see these things flying around there up in the sky,
Mm-hmm.
is people have a felt experience, and there's so many through so many years that have had felt experiences and known experiences that there has to
Yeah.
be a something there. So to
Mm-hmm.
to keep looking and keep curious for what that is, I think really is an inspiring message as we begin this year. I have a feeling that probably a lot of people in the past year wanted the shifts to happen, and yet it was like they kept
Yes.
feeling like things were grinding the opposite direction. And that this
Mm-hmm.
year, if the feeling is followed, then it will continue leading in that like
Yeah.
expansive place. And I'm seeing like a large, I don't know why, maybe there's something you can tell me as to why this is happening, but I feel like a larger divide as well for people who are like
Mm-hmm.
staying in what is boxed up and maybe in that Virgo almost mundane,
What they're comfortable
the
with. Yeah,
comfort. Yeah,
sure.
exactly.
And that can happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there
Mm-hmm.
a reason that I guess as our North Node shifts into these two differences, perhaps
Mm-hmm.
that's just why it's becoming more obvious that it feels like
Mm-hmm.
there's such a long
Yeah.
for that comfort zone right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, right now too, with the astrology, um, we have some things still in retrograde. It was Jupiter still retrograde.
So
So there's
not
been a
feeling
lot of
like
slowing
expansive,
down.
right?
Yeah. So I feel like I think it's February that it goes direct again. So I really feel like once Jupiter does go back direct, it's
Mhm.
gonna just be like boom, and like all this growth is gonna start to happen. Things are gonna start moving more. Mars also has been in retrograde, so again, there's
Mhm.
been this slowing down. But it's yeah, I think you have to kind of listen to your own body anyways, and just kind of go in and go with the flow of what the natural energies are feeling right now. And I think it is very timely for many of us in the winter months to just slow down a little bit, enjoy, go more at the slower pace, because I really feel like we're meant to naturally do this and not be in, a state of chaos with the holidays. But
Absolutely.
yes, I think once those planets go retrograde, February time, we're going to start seeing a lot more movement happening
I
for
love
sure.
that idea. I love also, as you're talking, I'm getting so excited about the timing of Oracle Fest because I think, oh, it happens right before February. So it almost like is like a launching
Yes.
point, right? It's like a launch pad
Hmm.
sort of zone of people taking in, receiving these downloads and messages, and then
Yes.
and everyone can go out flying, right? And
Take it out with you. Yeah.
yeah, or swimming.
Mhm. Yeah. In this case, yeah, maybe more so swimming.
Yeah, floating along, and I loved what
Yeah.
you said earlier about also you can be in lots of different types of water, right? So it could be that
Hmm.
that's also happening for a lot of people is that, they see rapids coming and they're trying to cling to the edge, but really right after that
Hmm.
rapids is like a peaceful, lazy river that you wouldn't have seen
Yeah.
around that corner if you didn't let yourself follow the feeling of, hey, I'm being pulled this way into the rapids
Yeah.
for a short time. And then and then one day it ends up being a lake. That lake ends up going all the way out to the ocean, like the it all
Hmm.
kind of has this connecting system. My one of my
Hmm.
Pisces best friends, I often will ask her, like, what kind of water are you? It's like,
Yeah.
right now I'm a puddle is my favorite
Yeah.
response, right?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, but because we can see ourselves in all these different forms throughout
Hmm.
life, and water is still there in every single of one of those. Like you said, the hurricane, right? It's water
Yep.
still
And we are
there.
made of water too.
Yeah.
I think, what is it like 70 or 80% water?
Oh yeah,
Something like
definitely.
that.
Majority of
Yeah. So
us.
yeah, getting in tune with our feelings and emotions, the veil being lifted for some,
Hmm.
again, some people may choose to just be in their comfort, and that's okay. They
Hmm.
have their own free will. But yeah, I do think a lot of because the moon relates to like in the tarot deck, the moon card is about hidden things. So
Hmm.
yes, some sort of veil lifting, maybe the veil thinning. Again, I could talk all day about these things, but
Yeah, because
Yeah.
if the veil thins, then we have more access and more awareness coming in and then lots of people automatically kind of have their spiritual awakening because they have an
Mhm.
experience. That's my opinion anyway,
Yes.
is that
Yeah.
I can't just tell someone Beta Pegasi exists. But if they had an experience
Mhm.
which connected them to it, it would be so clear for
Yeah.
them that you don't question what you know and feel, right?
Yeah.
So, how do more and
And
more situations come up that allow people to know and feel what is true?
exactly, yes. And I do want to say too, with those galactic alignments, like Beta Pegasi, for example, we, can't necessarily prove that it's there or it exists. But if you get into your own soul records, your Akashic records, and you have those feelings, my belief is that it's not always that it's necessarily a physical place out in the stars, but I kind of call it realms.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the word I've been using. So maybe it's in a different dimension, a different plane that exists to us. So again, it's hard to wrap your brain around it in, even for myself. So I really think of it as different realms
Mm-hmm.
essentially, because it might not be physically out there, but it actually might be out there on a different plane of reality. So again, I might be going a
Absolutely.
little out there, but
Hey, out
as
there, I
as
think
you
is,
know,
yeah, yeah,
this is the place for it, right? And Oracle Fest is
yeah,
perfect for me to to do that.
exactly. And I think that's actually, I'm hopeful that what you're describing in this shift as well is that we are also embracing and excited for that which is previously been in like the realms unknown to us or the dream
Hmm.
spaces or these sort of feelings where it's like that's just imagination, right? And then it's like
Atlantis,
imagination
for
comes reality.
example.
Right. Yeah, tell me.
Hmm. Yeah, oh, I was just gonna, as another example, would be Atlantis. So many of us really deeply feel that this was truly a place, and I'm biased because I do, I do feel that, and I've done readings and felt that yes, this was definitely an experience we had that was on our Earth, but it was at a different time and it was at a different level of beyond our understanding, and there was an ending, and for whatever reason, a lot of those things got erased or we've forgotten because of whether it's time or just, whole other things that could be part of that. But yeah, Atlantis being another example on Earth of a civilization or, environment that existed.
Hmm.
Also very water-like Atlantis, very
Absolutely.
much.
Absolutely. And
Mhm.
so I might suppose then that if so many people do feel that connection to that area and that awareness of themselves, that also might be rising up more and more. The tides may rise
Mhm.
on that like awareness of like more and more people like, oh, I just keep having these dreams and feelings, and it just seems so
Yeah.
real that it is real. That is reality. That
Mhm.
experience and that knowing and that tug of what if, that what if becoming reality feels very exciting because I
Yeah.
think, yeah, that's what allows a lot more people to also find fulfillment. You feel more at home feeling like there are multiple places you've been or came from.
Yeah, I think that's I always joke that that's why I'm so tired.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
we've been to so many different incarnations even before Earth. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's really interesting stuff. I find it really interesting, and I think more things are going to be coming into our awareness during this time, during this year.
absolutely. Ugh. I'm feeling very blessed that the Oracle Fest vision chose me in this timing actually, and that because it feels like we've been collectively like getting ready for
Yeah.
a lot more communication, a lot more openness. I've
Hmm.
only really talked to people who will say, "Oh, I wish I had more people to talk to about all these things that I've been coming across and
Yeah.
thinking and
Yeah.
feeling and growing our
Mhm.
communication within all these different communities is like our best way to do that."
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's like an open community for open minds to
Yeah.
relate to each other.
Yeah, yeah, and where we can take things from where they were hidden out to be seen and held and known
Mhm.
and felt by everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, love it.
I
It's
love that
gonna
too.
be great. Yeah.
Yeah, and the believing the impossible piece feels so important for the Oracle Fest message as well, and for all those attending.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing that reading, and thank you for sharing also more about what galactic astrology looks like, also how your specific flavor of galactic astrology is looking right now, which is connecting those starseed past lives. So again, I will
Mhm.
link down below for anyone who wants to dive into Adriana's read of me. It's will tell you more about
I
my
love the
life.
puns.
Yeah, yeah,
The
exactly.
water puns are great.
There are, and you'll learn also more about Beta Pagazi and
Mhm.
Shia or Sheet,
Yes.
and you'll learn more about that because it does come up as like a clear focus within, and there was like a cool image
Mhm.
in there, so it might be in there probably in that video.
Yes. Yeah, there was.
I
Yep.
remember. So that would be cool for people to go and learn more about that. Anything else coming up for you today that you want to share while we're here on Oracle Mountain?
Well, I am also going to be part of the Quantum Soul Guidance Summit, which my teacher, Julia Balaz, has put together. So I'm, again, very honored to be part of that summit coming up on the 14th of January, and then
Beautiful.
soon diving
Oracle
into
Fest.
yours with Oracle Fest.
Yes,
So, yes,
beautiful.
I got a lot of things happening for January. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So starting off the new year strong.
Yeah, I love that. And actually, for a lot of us folks who are doing this work of believing in the impossible so that other people can also find their way, through into it.
Yeah.
I shouldn't even say impossible at this point because that's funny. But
Mhm.
I think for a lot of us doing this type of work, we end up really getting called in before everyone is then having their expansion times as well. So it makes total sense that there would be another summit that
Mhm.
feels like important leading into that February alignment zone where people can do something with that information. So
Yeah.
it's a great time
Yeah,
to
for
cozy up
sure.
and like listen to guidance and listen to speakers and experts of all the different things that you're interested in, especially when it comes to these spiritual and non-ordinary spaces, these realms.
Yeah, and connect with us too. We love
Mhm.
to, I mean, I'm speaking for myself, but we always love connecting with others too who are interested in these things and, having that, especially like you were saying before, if you feel like you've had all these ideas, but you don't really have anyone to talk to about it. So, by all means, I'm an open book for the most part.
Yeah,
Um,
beautiful, beautiful. And I know people are going to really benefit from you being at Oracle Fest, Adriana. So thank you for joining us
oh,
there
thank
as
you.
well. And so for anyone who wants to hear and learn a little bit more, then you can take a look out for Adriana's session. I believe you're on the Friday, so you'll be starting us off earlier on in the Oracle Fest event lineup, which is exciting. And
Yay.
so
Looking
yeah,
forward to
yeah, absolutely. Me too. So we'll leave it there,
it.
leaving Oracle Mountain for today and waiting for more people to join us.
Great. Can't wait to be there, and I'll see you soon.
Beautiful. Take care.